As you know, traditionally, our people have their own language. And so it was very important to our relatives that baby hears that first language from the time they are conceived. So talking in the language, talking to one another in the language is really important. But if that's not possible, it is now, today, with our language being so diminished over time, and it was actually outlawed to speak our language for about 100 years. And so a lot of the language transmission was diminished over time. And so now we really promote that when our babies are born, that the first words that they hear are in our language, Ojibwe Moan. Greeting them, hello, we're glad you're here. I'm your mom, I'm your dad, this is your grandmother, this is your grandfather. It would have been more elaborate, right, when our people spoke the language as a first language and maybe an only language that they would speak to the baby. They would give them a big, long welcome speech. Well, in all the teachings that I have from my teachers about our language is that the importance of our language carries a lot of knowledge about our traditions and our ways of life and our ceremonies and our relationships with one another and with all of the plants and animals and on Mother Earth. And so I've shared numerous times with numerous people about our language and how that there's not a true translation in English to our language because our language is so descriptive, and it's not just, if you say the word Dewe'igan, which is drum, that means that in our language, in its description, is that it's the heart or the beat of Mother Earth, or the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And in English, of course, it's drum. Children, when they were born, way back when, before our language was diminished, there was a lot of teachings in that language that were understood because they were describing what the duty and what the responsibility is of our people to themselves, to their families, to the community, to the earth. It was all wrapped up in that language. The language is so descriptive, and it gives baby a better understanding of their connection to their relationships with their parents, with their grandparents, with their other family members, and that they are more connected or deeper connected with their relatives because of the language and how they're spoken to. I was taught that we don't raise our voices to our children, and that we use words that are supportive, that are loving, that are encouraging and guiding. And sometimes we speak nothing, and that is also tells volumes about the relationship or maybe the behavior that may have just been exhibited. Well, today I think it's more the revitalization of the language, whereas traditionally, when we all spoke our language, that it really didn't have a lot of significance because that's who we were at the time, that this is the language we speak, this is how we're related to each other. This is how we behave amongst each other. That was all embedded into our language and our teachings from the time we were born. But today, revitalizing that language is really a big deal for our young parents, especially who may not have ever been exposed to the language in their own home growing up, but to be able to share that language with their now newborn child is really a big deal. We really encourage our families to learn as much Ojibwe as they can, even if it's just saying miigwech, come here, ambeoma, bindagain, come in, eya, yes, gawin, no, niban, sleep, namadubin, sit, wisinin, eat, minnequain, drink. Just some of those basic everyday activities that we do in our homes.